What's up, weirdos? I'm Felicia and I like scary movies, and today we're talking about False Positive, my last Tribeca Film Festival review, and this film is actually coming to Hulu on June 25th, so you're going to be able to see it really soon. False Positive was written by Ilana Glazer, yes, this one from Broad City, along with John Lee, and John Lee also directed it. Now, if your brain went horror movie, Ilana Glazer, horror comedy, you would be wrong. This is a full-on psychological thriller, people. It's basically a modern-day Rosemary's Baby, but let's talk details. After difficult struggles with fertility, loving couple Lucy and Adrian seem to have finally found their potential savior in the charming and world-renowned reproductive specialist, Dr. Hindle. But as their dreams begin to come true, cracks start to appear in the facade of normalcy, sending the now expected mother into a spiral of suspicion that threatens her grasp on reality. I mean, yes, clearly this is based on Rosemary's Baby. The husband's name is even Adrian, which is the baby's name in Rosemary's Baby. It all works together. Maybe they're connected, but I don't really think so. So this movie starts off with our main character of Lucy killing it at her job in an office of all men. Like she's doing it, she's doing really well, she's getting promoted or whatever. And then we have her on the other side of her life finally finding this fertility doctor who finally gets her pregnant, and she's just like, oh my god, I can have it all. And then both of those things start to crumble. This is a movie about gaslighting women. This is definitely a movie about the patriarchy, and a movie about like deep down female fear. And fears that I haven't necessarily thought about much because I do not have children and I am not currently trying to have children. So these are some different fears that I currently haven't experienced. But as a woman watching a pregnancy horror film, I fully and instinctually understand that fear of, I'm pregnant, something's wrong with my baby, they've done something to my baby, they're trying to hurt my baby, blah, 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 blah. So terrifying. Like, I even think about Toby. Like, Toby, if the other dog is mean to him at the dog park, I almost have a meltdown. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't I protect you? Just like a baby. I protect you. I love you. I feel like I grew Toby in my tummy. Like, I feel like I did. Like, I know I didn't, but I could have. I know this is the content you guys want anyway. Like, stop talking about movies, just talk about Toby. I also have to mention that Pierce Brosnan is in this movie and perfectly cast as the evil doctor. Just perfectly cast. And then we also have Sophia Bush, who I freaking love, from One Tree Hill, by the way. Now, is this a perfect horror film? I don't think so. The filmmakers that are telling me this story of a gaslit woman descending into madness, the story is clear in the film, but I don't think the horror elements are mastered. Particularly in my brain, and you can tell me once you watch the movie, just the build of the character of Lucy and her arc. I just don't know if I like really felt it. Like, I understood it, but I don't know if I felt it. And just, I don't know, I love psychological horror films. It's definitely one of the top subgenres for me. And there's just something about this that I felt like it was almost there, but like didn't quite make it in terms of the horror aspects of this film. And they use a lot of like the language repetitively, like the word mommy brain. They like blame everything that Lucy is feeling or confused about on mommy brain. But there's just something about the connection of these characters and even like the husband and wife, like there's just things about it that I'm just like, I'm not fully buying it all. I like it and I like the story. I think it's really fascinating. I'm into it, but I'm not sure I'm buying it. Am I crazy? You have to watch this movie and tell me. Overall though, for it coming to Hulu, I think it's definitely worth checking out. Once you do, come back to this video and tell me what you thought of it down in the comments. And now we're going to go into a quick spoiler section because I have to just talk about this one thing. Like, I can't click off my camera until I talk about the ending of this film. So you have been warned. Alright, so the end of this film, there are sort of two endings, which I'm always just so annoyed by when people do this when they have an ending that's clearly should have been the ending, and then they just tack another ending on the end of it, and I'm just like, why? So there's this amazing image that they have of Lucy, you know, covered in blood, sending her 2 baby children a la Medea out the window to die. Like, she's literally kind of like letting them glide out the window. It's almost like they're floating away from her. There's a lot of Peter Pan things going on in this movie. She's got one in each hand. They're floating out the window, and it's in my brain. I'm like, oh, she's killed those 2 babies, and that to me, gorgeous, horrifying ending to a horror film. I'm just like that. I mean, it's horrible. But then they have her standing back over the crib, and it was just a fantasy, and she did not throw her babies out the window, and she's like, take these babies, husband, and get out of town. The husband doesn't get the punishment that I feel this character would have given him by the end of this movie. She just like kind of lets him off the hook. And then she takes the fetus into the living room and begins to try to nurse the fetus, even though it's very small. And that image I like. Like, in my brain, I'm just like, it should have gone from twin babies out the window, now I'm gonna feed this fetus. I just hate that they made it so she didn't commit an evil act by the end of this movie because of everything she's gone through. Like, I just was like, that's it. Like, she's sending these babies away, and she's going to keep the one that she wanted. Like, it just should have been that dark, I think. And it's still dark, like it's a bleak ending, but I'm just like, darker. Okay, so that's it. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and if you didn't watch the movie and I just spoiled it for you, it's your own dang fault. Okay, have a nice screen. Bye.